What up, what up, what up? PVM, positive vibes, maybe. Positive vibes, maybe. PVM talk show. We here tonight once again. How y'all doing? How y'all living this beautiful and wonderful Sunday evening? You know what I mean? Sorry, Dwayne, blank. You ain't gonna get no free promotion unless you cut the check. Idiot! But I do got me a little something, you know what I'm saying? It's been a beautiful weekend. It's been quite revelatory, you know what I'm saying? But aren't all things when it comes to life. But we here with you, our audience, our fellow supporters, and our loved ones. What's going on with you? Thank you for joining. So, per usual, I sent some invitations to some folks and such, you know. Make sure people know that we on live and popping exactly how it should be. You know. Hope everybody has been doing wonderful and well these last few days since our last talk. And we're going to have ourselves another beautiful one. Tonight's guest, pardon me, a homie that I just came into I don't want to say contact per se, because my brother, shout out to 8036, aka Neat Scotch, put me on to him. And since I've been working with him, it's been feeling like, you know what I'm saying, we've had kindred spirit as far as like a connection between us or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So the homie Prolificwone, shout out to EO Dub, you know what I'm saying? He's got some shit with him, people. I'm trying to tell you, it's going to be another beautiful one. You dig? Von Brown, what's going on? Clean Baldy. Hey, listen, I'm trying to tell you, listen, this is my thing, right? I'm still trying to figure out a way, and this is for everybody that's in there. If y'all know any way that black people can get themselves a baldy without the whole razor bump bullshit, and if we ain't got money for us to go to the barbershop, y'all let me know. I got myself an electric shaver, which is cool, but it's worthless unless I already cut it down with some clippers, and I cut it down the size, because the electric shaver is like the finishing touch, you know what I'm saying? It's like trying to eat icing without the cake. You still got to make the cake first before you get to the icing. The electric shaver is just the icing aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? So y'all let me know what tools y'all use. Y'all let me know what oils, what ointments, whatever, after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really like, I got little stubbies and whatnot, little peach fuzzes and shit. You know what I mean? I like my shit be a swing. You know what I'm saying? But listen, let me get back on my shit. You know what I'm saying? Von Brown said, aren't you happy you let the locks go? Fuck yeah, I'm happy, bro. Like, dog. The locks was a chapter in my life. I appreciate it. I'm never going to regret it. The locks were a chapter in my life. I went 8 years with them locks. Learned a lot. Experienced a lot. I don't miss them. You know what I'm saying? Experienced them. Lived with them. I'm smooth with it. It was a great chapter in my life. Now it's Baldy Jeide chapter. You dig? Now, we send an invite to Dash as well. Bring Prolific all up. John. Pro!
Yeah.
What's going on with you, King?
Yeah, I be struggling with getting the right baldy too, though.
Dog, I'm trying to tell you, man. Like,
big facts, though.
Bro, I use clippers. I use Scott's clippers or whatnot. That joint cool and all that. Don't get me wrong, but like, I got real sensitive skin. I got super sensitive skin. So if I don't use, and like, shout out to Supreme too. Supreme put me on to black tree or
black tea tree oil.
Yes, put me on to that. That helps tremendously. But my shit's so sensitive. Even with that, if I don't apply that shit 2 times a day after I get a shave that I do on my own, my shit like wildfire, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you just got to use Nair or some shit like that.
This nigga said. Going on with you, bro. That's going on with you, fam.
Yeah, you know I like to laugh and have fun, man. You know this. You know the vibes, bro.
This nigga said I gotta use my hair on my motherfucking head.
You catch a clean body.
What's good with y'all?
Yo, salute, King.
We smooth, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I can hear y'all so much better now. You
know what I'm saying?
The black magic shave powder too. I heard that's like
All right, so I heard of that one.
That shit, it smelled horrendous though. I tell you that. My step pop used to use that joint because he had sensitive skin. So when he used to shave, he would start mixing that paste. Oh boy, go outside, King. Go the outside. Big facts.
I'm lazy though. I'm lazy. Like, look, I'm about myself, kid. Don't get me wrong. I'm about myself, kid. But I don't got time for, like, you know what I mean, checkpoints just to finish the race. Like, if I'm going to run the race, let me run the race. Let me run my sprint. Let me run my 50-meter sprint, my 100-meter sprint. I ain't got time for the batons, and then I gotta wait for the baton to come back, then pass it, wait for it to come back just to get to. Man, I ain't got time for all that shit. Like, nah, man. Like, let me just do something that's gonna get me where I need to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, man, I feel you. I do my own hair. I've been doing it for like 21, 22 years now. And really, I just bought the professional grade barber clippers. And I just give myself the zero. Because big facts, bro, I don't have time to be sitting at the shop. You know what I mean? You make the appointment, but then somebody else slip in your seat. Or this nigga want to go get lunch or something. Like, bro, all I want is a Caesar. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really, like, you see, like, this. All I need is a zero. So how I'm gonna sit here, wait for you, pay you $25, and what? I could have done that in my house for $5.
I
Fact.
mean, yeah. But then you miss that experience. Like going to the barber shop is like that brotherhood, the kinship
You're
too.
right.
Like it's not,
You're right.
you know, like you get that, you get them vibes. Like it's, I mean, yeah,
It
you
is. It
sitting
is
on that whole
different.
experience.
So I ain't gonna hold you. I grew up going to the shop. You know what I mean? Like as a young
Yeah,
dude, a
see, there you
teenager,
go.
a young man even. But like after a while, I was like, yo, time is money, Brody, and I got to move. Like I take my son to the shop though, and I get a little bit of a taste of it. So you know,
You got to. It's a part of the culture. I
it's
mean,
part of growing up too. You know.
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I respect and I salute the fact that you do your own hair. It took me a while for me to even get to this point too. But like, I still look, man. You know what I mean? It's still a thing. It's still an element of where we come from. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
salute that you introducing that to your son. You know what I mean? Because it's something about that. You know what I mean?
And just on some grown man shit, you got to be able to walk into a place. You got to assert yourself. You got to ask, you know, who's cutting. You need to get a seat. You know what I mean? Just on like learning how to interact with other men is a good place for you to see how that transaction goes down, if you will. You know, if your dad ain't never gonna walk you in the shop and like you know figure out who's gonna cut your hair and have that negotiation with dude and be like, nah, get his line right like this, like no, fade it up more like this. Then you know maybe you don't learn that skill and you just walk in, you take what they give you, you walk back out. So I hope that I'm developing some type of life skills as well. You know.
No, I feel you. Definitely feel
You
you.
need to know what you want, especially when you're going to the barber shop, because you can. It will if you're just going out there.
You get
Man,
zeked
yo.
real quick. You come outside, your shit be looking banged, and you wouldn't even
Yeah,
say
feel like
nothing
that's what
because
young boy wanted. Like,
go back to school and it's over. Your career is
yeah,
done.
like real fast in a hurry. Start wearing a hat the rest of the week. Like, all right.
That shit build you up too. You know what I'm saying? Because you walk around and have to go to school. They're gonna take your hat off.
That's true. You do have to wear that scar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Luckily, it'll grow out, and hopefully, if you like me, it only takes like 3-4 days. You know what I'm saying? You be like, oh, didn't you just have a locked up fade? No. My shit back right now. I ate some carrots. You know what I'm saying? I did some push-ups. My metabolism is flying.
Oh man.
Facts. All right, so Pro, listen, man, let's get into it, man. You know what I mean? Because you know we've talked, we've built over the months that I've gotten to know you. You know what I'm saying? You a respectable, stand-up individual as a person, and then when we
Okay.
as being an artist, man, you one of the sharpest minds and one of the more prolific, as your name states, pens that.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to gas you up because you know where I stand with it. I don't have no problems with me accepting myself as who I am as an artist. You know what I'm saying? So I give it up and I give the flowers to wherever I see the flowers deserve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
But
appreciate that, bro, because you know I love you and I think you're a remarkable talent. You know what I'm saying? Multidisciplinary artist, you know, and like what you do creatively is so meaningful, and so soulful, really. And so like to me, like that's the ultimate, you know, gift that anybody could give you is to say that, you know, your pen and your artwork is appreciated. So much love to you as well. And ditto, King. You already know.
that's love. I appreciate it. But before we
Facts.
talking about In the Red, because I really do get down for everybody. Now, let's get to know you as a person, bro. Look, what inspired you to pick up a pen? Cause I'm gonna put myself out there. Cause the Dash, you not exempt too, nigga. Like you being the artist that you are, we're gonna get into what inspired you to start off your path as well. So I'm gonna go first. So I love telling this story because at first I thought hip hop was so beyond me. I've always been a writer all my life. Always been a, you know what I'm saying? Always drew, always been that type of artist. But when I would hear MCs do their thing at a young age, I just thought it was magical. I didn't think that I would ever be able to do something like that. You know what I mean? I remember seeing Bow Wow on Arsenio Hall, and I thought that, yo, that was amazing that young boy could do what he did. And I was looking at myself, I'm like, I can't do that. And that didn't even inspire me. You know what I'm saying? What
Damn.
inspired me was one day, this was middle school, walking to the bus stop, you know what I mean, waiting for the bus to come, get up on the bus, my homie, Damien, blaring something out the headphones. He got a CD player, right? I'm like, yo, what you watch? What you listening to? He don't say nothing. He just passed me the headphones, right? And he hits the back button to play the record again. Bro, when I tell you this shit changed my life, first thing I hear is, doom, woke up this morning, doom, woo,
Mm,
you got yourself a girl, yeah, yeah.
mm.
Like,
You
yo,
got yourself a
bro,
gun.
my,
Doom, doom, doom. Yeah, what is that? The organ that comes in or something major on that record
I
right
don't
there?
know, but that's a classic, though. I mean,
bro,
like,
my,
I didn't even like Nas like that as a kid, and I couldn't even help but rock with that
Mm,
song. Like,
I tell you why. I tell you why my mind was blown. And I tell you why that record resonated with me to such a degree that from that day on, I said, what? I could do this. First of all, I never knew that storytelling could be put on beat like that.
mm,
But even before that, I never knew that elements of church could be applied to hip hop. When I heard
mm,
that choir go off, I was immediately transported to church. You
mm-hmm.
feel me?
Facts. That song is definitely kind of on some a gospel vibe. Gospel vibe.
Bruh,
Yeah,
I mean, it is kind of gospel-ish. You know, it's street gospel.
facts. But that is Nas's whole wave, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It do be like the poetic street dude, and I can't say that he's not one of like my biggest inspirations. You know, just in terms of like coming from the culture. I'm probably from a little bit of a different era than you are in terms of like the people that influenced me. So when I think of storytelling rappers, I think of like a Slick Rick. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think about like a Coogee rap. You know what I mean? Dudes telling like street tales or you know similar just narratives, walking you through different scenarios and things like that. And so like from storytelling perspective, I would say like Slick Rick for me is like, you know, he's the dude. Like, you know, when you hear like a song like Mona Lisa, you know what I'm saying? Mona Lisa, you know what I mean? That just
That's real.
that resonated young for me. Even having older cousins and people playing hip hop, like I always felt like I didn't have a name for it, but it was always in my life, right? It's just a culture that I already existed in, right? My older cousin was a b-boy and he did graffiti and shit like that, you know. So I was exposed to that really early. My father was also like a promoter and involved in the early New York hip hop scene. And so like I had exposure and had gone to different concerts and met different artists at a pretty young age. Um, and so like I always felt like part of this community of hip hop. I didn't know how that was going to manifest itself, but to your other point, like I always was really articulate and able to write well, super like creative. Like as a kid, I was always involved in like theater or you know, whatever the visual art was, whether that was photography or sculpture, I always gravitated towards that. So for me, I felt like the pen really became the paintbrush, whereas I didn't know if I could really paint. I can't, really paint well or do. I haven't trained for that, but I always felt like with words, I was able to really be descriptive and to create the imagery, if you will, that I was wanting to convey to people. And even like my team and fam close to me that knows me for a long amount of time always know that I'm not necessarily like on some punchline shit. I'm not necessarily trying to blow your head off either. More so as just trying to give you snapshots in a slideshow, in the way that I'm expressing myself and creating my music and my bar work. So where did it start? Probably in elementary school with a poem one day where the teacher was like, yo, really great job. My mom was like, oh, that's great. Read it for everybody, But then applying it to music, I think that was more like a freestyle thing as a young teenager, smoking weed with my friends, right? And like cats are listening to a beat or a record and they just start going over it and letting bars go. And then like honing that and crafting that over some time to eventually think about it as something I wanted to pursue and actually identifying it as, yo, oh, you're an MC, like you're a lyricist, you're a songwriter. I use all of those very specifically to not just say rapper, because I think it's very cliche and very easy for people to be like, oh, I'm a rapper.
Right.
But like I think I'm a wordsmith, and the things that I do are beyond just rap. I'm a producer, I'm a creator, I'm a visionary, I'm a visual artist, and my medium are the words that I use, you know what I'm saying? And the beats of the canvases that producers and my, partners work on with me. And so, sorry to not be able to answer your question, Jeide.
Man, that was,
That was a hell of an answer. Like,
that's a,
but it's always been there. You know what I mean? I think that's what I'll say.
Right on, right on. Before I continue to groove on, though, because I do want to get into a couple of aspects. I do want to talk about the Red LP, and I want to talk about your role in the community of artists. Dash, you're a writer as well, man. Let's get into the humble beginnings, bro. What inspired you to pick up the pen and start expressing yourself as a poet and as a writer?
I can't identify the exact moment, but I can remember moments like definitely like as a kid just spending time with my grandma. Like she definitely was one of the first people I remember like actually putting the pen in my hand to write, because that was her way of keeping me distracted while she cooked. So I do remember a lot of times she'd be like, yo boy, just start writing me something, or write me a song or write me a poem or something. And like that'd be my shit to do like while she was cooking. So like that became like our habit and everything. And honestly, like musically wise, like I would kind of just say like what artists inspired me to write? Like I don't know if it was one particular artist, but I know like I'll put it like in that whole Dre, Puffy, that era, like late 90s, early 2000s era, like really got me the most because like the music I was listening to just kind of made me want to write. Like it, like, like the beats was hitting. So like the beats would go so crazy.
Exactly.
Like, like in your head, you just start making up words and things where you'd be like, all right, you know what, let me just put this down this. And then out of that just came like natural, just like, all right, I could pen something a little better than that. Like, and then you start sharing it with your friends and then they big you up and then you'd be like, all right, like, I come out a little better than that now. Like, so like, it's pretty much that. Like, it's no, like, that's my answer.
No, that's facts though, because the validation from your peers, like when you sitting outside and you start getting busy and you're able to like, put something together that everybody smiles at or they nod into, like that exchange of energy is like, those are those fulfillments that I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And so like, that's important. And I'm glad that they inspired you to keep going, can keep going for real.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Gotcha. At this point, it's programming my DNA too much not to. I feel weird when I don't write. Like so.
As it should, as it fucking should. So, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. In the Red. I know we've talked about it, but there are people in here right now that they appreciate art. They appreciate the visual scope of instrumentation, lyricism, words with messages, vibrations that make you move and shift your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, give us a glimpse as to what inspired the name In the Red and the themes thereof.
Yeah, yo, I appreciate you guys having me though, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I
Oh,
love
no
to hear
doubt.
better just build with creatives and like talk about, actually I like to talk about the bullshit, but we'll talk about the album anyway, yo. um, so I have been off of music for a long time. I'm part of the End of the Week family, as you talked about a little bit, and that being one of the driving forces in New York underground hip hop for about 20 years. It's still active today. But just with the family priorities and like trying to get your life together, I had stopped hosting open mic and had moved to just like working the work. You know what I'm saying? Take care of the kids, doing the regular day to day stuff, and put the mic down. I have found other creative endeavors, and we talk a little bit about like my street art community stuff, a little bit later. But basically, I had gone through a series of chambers in life, like transitions, evolutions, if you will, right? You talk about personal relationship shit. You talk about relationships with your kids. You talk about loss. You talk about losing your job, and then ultimately losing my best friend and a musical partner to me, in this series of like 2 years, right? And it was like it started slowly, and then things kind of rapidly progressed, and I kind of hit a point where if I was running a business, right, and my life was that business, um, and it would be in the red. My books would be cooked, right? I would be bleeding money. I would be losing. It's funny. The other night I gave somebody a sticker, and they're like, "Is this about the stock market?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. If the market is my life, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, and the stocks are my chips." Um, and so I was low, bro. To be truthfully and brutally honest with you, I was in a real dark place. Um, didn't really know what to do. It was the first time in 20 something years that I had been without a job. I was estranged from, my loved ones and the people that are closest to me. And the music was actually the only thing that I had left, bro, that could come from me, that I could create in order to help to try and heal myself and to try to express myself. Um, as men and as people of color and like all of these different cliches and these things that we start hearing, now and then, I was done, bro. I was cooked. And so this album was therapy. I reached out to a couple of producers and people that were close to me when the homie passed, and I was like, "Yo, just please send me music." You know what I mean? I need it. I need it bad. And I went and I recorded 75 songs in the matter of 9 months, and there were, all different ranges of emotions. But when I saw the through line and the theme of the music, it was very much this timepiece, this capsule of this low point in my life. To be truthfully, honest with you, so I wanted to take people through a journey. I wanted it to feel um, dense and packed with emotion, but I didn't want it to all be dark spots, right? I wanted it to be a blend. I wanted it to be reflective of life and kind of everything that I had gone through. And so, I go from the beginning with a song like "I Am," where I'm trying to give you kind of the breakdown of who I am and where I've been in the beginning, and then I'll run you through this whole range of emotions. And there's a lot of heaviness there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of weight to it, but there's also levity and breath in it, in different records as well. So like we could go down the list and break them down, but really this was my therapy album, bro. This was a way for me to like let go a lot of things that I was holding on to, and to try to share that with the world, with the audience, with my friends, with my family, with everybody, because I felt like it's sorely missed and needed right now in music, which is just reality rap. You know what I mean? And maybe it's not just rap. Maybe it's soul. Maybe it's gospel. Maybe it's R&B. But just music that is coming from a real place that's raw. and that will resonate with people on an emotional level. That's not just always happy, joy, joy, but also when you're down, and
Yeah.
also when you need somebody to lift you up, and also when you're having heavy thoughts. You know what I mean? I wanted to really try and walk folk through where I had been as an individual and give them some medicine, because the music was medicine for me.
I dig it. That's real.
That's super long winded.
Listen, man, we got
No, we love it.
until we 8 o'clock. We ain't got nothing. We ain't got nothing but time. You feel me? That was beautiful. That was beautifully said, bro.
Thanks, man. Yeah, the In the Red album, it was just like it's my therapy album. And folks have asked me, like, what's the concept? What's the theme? What is it about? Like, it's about me, where I've been, what I've seen, what I've been experiencing. But it's also about everybody and what we've all collectively been going through as a society over the last few years.
Sure.
Relationships in trouble, loss, trying to keep your faith, trying to keep, strength of conviction, trying to be moralistically intact and aligned. Time's been dark. People been feeling heavy. So I try to just give them my version of what it's been.
Right on. Right on.
Hey, Jetty, man, come on, man. You helped me finish it off, bro.
Listen,
It's like the healing is like a favorite record for people, brother. Thank you so much, man. That really like sealed the deal. Feel me?
yeah, that's a special record. That's a special record. To this day, records that help to, first of all, thank you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart when I say thank you, because when I say I give you your flowers as an artist, I don't know too many artists outside of the folk that I know who would be able to sit down with me and break down the nucleus of that record in the way that you did. You know what I'm saying? Because you pulled it out of me, bro. It could have been another just collabo. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I need you to sing on this. I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? Throw a couple vocals, man. You know what I'm saying? And it would have been something cool to listen to. But you gave me a piece of your soul in the breakdown of that record. You know what I'm saying? Of what inspired that record, what you experienced, what you walked through. And it resonated with me, with where I came from and what I walked through. Not to say that, comparing, you know what I'm saying? Not to say that I'm comparing my instance or my narrative to yours, but where the dots aligned. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, oh shit, of course. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
bro. And that's important for me. And I think that those are the conversations that I had throughout the project, from the producers, uh, to my engineer Nunzio. I love you, bro.
Shout out, out to
To
Rob.
to Scotch. You know what I mean? Like, having to be transparent and vulnerable and talk to your friends about like your truth and your reality, and in the same process making that music is super cathartic. You know what I mean? But like it was like therapeutic for me, and it gave me a sense of relief. And like I had to be honest with people that I'm working on a project with, because there has to be sincerity in the way that we approach the production, even, and the creation process, right? There has to be integrity, you know what I mean, down to the bones of how you tap into the spirit when you sing the record. Because if you don't know what the source is, then we, like you said, we just doing words. And I'm not about doing words. You know what I'm saying? You
That's,
already know.
that's a fact. That's a fact. To get a bit deeper though, and
Hmm.
in the same vein of music, but just to put the musical aspect to the side, and get into the human aspect. Before you decided to pick the pen back up, before you said to yourself that this was the vehicle in which you were going to choose therapy to be expressed, to be felt, to be experienced through, what were elements that helped to keep you afloat while you were in the red, while you were actually in the red? You know what I mean? Before you conceptualized it to be the piece of art that it is now. When you were dead in the middle of the storm, how did you wade through the water?
Yeah. Hyper focus on my son, my youngest son, you know what I mean, who I have to be present for daily. And so, regardless of what my emotional baggage is or how I'm feeling as a human, there's a certain level of grace I always have to exhibit and display, right? So, having that focus of being like, yo, daily, I have to at least meet a bar and come with a actual standard. I can't dip below that. Also, Mom Dukes, my brother, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
The people that know you since you came out,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Since before you know who you were. And having that support system is, I thank God for that all the time. Faith, right? And something bigger than myself, and an understanding that I'm just part of something else and I could just be the best version of my part that I could be. And it fits into some other plan. And that's just how I believe it to work. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, Finding my spiritual side again, which I think I had lost
Mhm.
um, in, in fear of um, losing what I had held valuable, which was materialism, I guess, and things that I had come to possess, and the goods and products that I come to own, and the fear of losing those things, and like being able to let those thoughts and ideas go, because those are really like blockers in your energy field, right? And so like I wasn't flowing freely, so praying daily, um, using different mantras daily, lighting a candle daily, taking time to breathe and just stretch and relax, um, getting back in touch with just silence, bro. Put the phone down, turn off the music, and just sit for 20 minutes if I could, 10 minutes if I could. Like, it's remarkable what you could do for yourself,
Yes.
right? And you need your community, and I spoke to that, but you have to find the time to spend on the self care and the focus to do the little things that will help to get you back on track to where you need to be, right? Because we could tell you all day, you should do this, you should do that, and have the formula for you, but until you implement that formula or that recipe, it means nothing. You know what I'm saying? So like trying to stay with that routine, and trying to keep positivity at the forefront. And honestly, Jetty, like knowing where I came from, bro. I
Mhm.
came from the bottom, bottom, bottom. Like I could live off of white rice, a piece of bread,
Talk
one
about
I could have one outfit and I'll be looking clean every day. I'll wash it in the sink at Burger King, bro.
it.
Like
Yup.
because I've been through the ringer. So like I told myself, like, you got all this stuff and yeah, you achieved whatever, but like we could start from zero again and it ain't gonna matter, as long as like your soul and your integrity is pure and like your spirit is back. So like I had to find it again. And it didn't come overnight.
Whew. Listen.
And I cried a lot. Like, how about that? That's another thing, bro. I would just be like sitting somewhere and just walk out the room and like lose it.
Hmm.
Sobbing cries, right? Not like I'm sad. Like I'll drive in my car, open the windows and scream loud, music blasting, yelling down the road at night,
Yeah.
right? Because the rage was the biggest thing that I had to let go of, right? And I think that is like one of the biggest demons, right? And like everything fuels the rage, the fear, the anxiety, you know. There's so many different factors, but like to let go of the rage and the anger and the expectation and all these other low vibration was what finally freed me. But you go through that. You got to go through the shadows to find the light, bro. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And then to stay in the light is that's a whole nother, right?
That's a fact.
The
That's a
devil
fact.
stay working, bro.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That African butterfly said daily is key. Routine helps. It's
Mm.
absolutely facts. That's
You
absolutely.
have to. You have
Yeah.
to.
Uh, I resonated deeply with what you said, and I'm sure Dash you can too, because and everybody in here, because we've all experienced loss to some degree, and we continue to do so because we're living in the physical and it's ephemeral. You know what I mean? It's
Mm.
real temporal. Nothing lasts forever. The only constant is change. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Uh, I had this whole weekend has been one of a revelatory element for me you know, speaking with my heart this weekend, certain dreams and certain things and the way certain things will connect or whatnot. And I had to put things into perspective, you know what I mean? Like bringing together or merging the worlds of my past with my present in order to acknowledge and to honor my future. You know, there's a lot of dark, icky, nasty, regrettable even aspects to myself that I had to come and confront face to face. And it puts things into a perspective in which you realize the things you wish could be, you need to let go in order for the things that will be or the things that are to be received purely and properly. You know, and it hurts. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? If you have a good heart, you want the best for yourself and you want the best for people that you love. But because we're human, sometimes the things that we want for those that we love are flawed because we're human.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's essential to let go. And having this conversation with my heart this weekend, I was shit. Like there was things that I wanted for us. You know what I mean? Those things that I wanted for myself in connection to us, in dynamic with us and shit. And I realized that in order for this to be as pure as I want it, beyond I want it, in order for this to be as pure as I wish it to be, for it to naturally, organically grow into what it's going to be, in order for true prosperity, true wealth, true health, I gotta come out forward with everything, all the nastiness, everything. It can't be no shadows. Like you said, you have to go through the shadows to get to the light. You know what I mean? It's not just sticking in the shadows. Shadow work is not to stay in the shadows. Shadow work is to acknowledge that there is no shadow without the light. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. And, you know, I liken it to a plant. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many different ways that you can kill a plant, right? You could overwater it and drown it. You know what I mean? It could get root rot. You can not put it in a big enough pot. You know, you can not prune and trim it properly. So, like, you got to be your own gardener and your own, you know what I'm saying, groundskeeper and
I
tend
like
your
that.
life. Yeah, brother. You know, and you got to stay diligent with it because all it takes is one season for you to fall off and your shit lacking and
Yeah.
it might not grow back and you don't always get more seeds neither. So, you know, there's levels to it, but you know, the understanding is the key component. And once you have that, you know, that routine, that's what got me to be like, yo, I got to do this project. I got to finish the project. You know, I got to make my lists again. I got to start, you know, putting some structure and some format to what I want to achieve. Writing goals down, bro. Come on. Like I talk about these things, but I actually do them. I don't just talk about them. And then when they're there, I don't just look at them.
Right.
That's just a reminder. You know what I'm saying? That's just a lot. Nothing fall off. You know what I mean? So people be like, I made the list. Like, nigga, what you do with the fucking list, though?
Exactly.
It's in my top drawer. Word. Okay. When's the last time you looked at it? When's the last time you visioned and you focused and you spent like 30 seconds just visioning the manifestation of the thing it is that you look to achieve? Because that's real. You said I dream. You know what I'm saying? Super powerful, bro. You lucky. Some people don't dream. Their brain is so scrambled. Their shit so fried. They don't know what to do. They go to sleep. They can't dream. You know, all the people, you know, got stress disorders, shit that won't let them sleep. You feel me? So they lucky if they get rest. There's a lot of toxicity and fucking evil out here, bro. So we just here to fight that. That's why the music is so important. That's why us doing this, you know what I'm saying, when we tired and when we don't want to do it no more is critical. Because if not us, then who?
That's real
Them.
too.
We see what they doing. These niggas is running this shit in the ground, bro. Come on, man.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Hey Dash, I want if you're because I know this is like a temperamental subject for all of us, honestly, but if you're willing to share any element or aspect in which you found yourself in the red in your life and you were able to maneuver and navigate yourself out of that, could you recall an instance?
Um, not off the top of my dome just yet. But I definitely fit everything you was described. I definitely went through it at different moments in my life. Like I can definitely recall the moment. Like I was sitting in my car, like how you mentioned earlier, and screaming at the top of my lungs out of frustration. You know, music playing, like feeling like my life is like not going as it was expected. Feeling like shit just wasn't moving the way I wanted it to move, or it just wouldn't even allow me to do things I wanted to do. Like I definitely feel that frustration before, but the exact reason I can't recall at this moment though. Like,
I dig it. I dig it. Nah, that's well enough though. You know what I mean? Frustration, especially to men, and the responsibility and the roles not only that society places on us, but that we place on ourselves. You know what I mean? Frustration. It kind of goes hand in hand with manhood and maturity. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you on that. I feel both of you gentlemen on that. Ish Mommy said, "My dreams be telling on folks, and I just want to mind my business."
That's 100% big time facts. You know what I'm saying? People are seers. You know, and sometimes like your antenna be on and you be keyed in, and sometimes you're not because of this programming, right? Let's just call it what it is, right? We come into this program from the get, built for the institution in the matrix, right? And like some of us see glimmers of light, and we find the right reading, or we find the right mentor or the right person to come drag us out. And then we like Neo out here bugging out like, oh shit, this can't be real. And we go through all kind of life changes just to try to like accommodate for the fact that we've been asleep this whole time. And now we woke up and we're like, oh shit, this is really happening. And then from there on out, it's what you make of it, right? Some people jump right back in and be like, I'm good with this. And then there's the rest of us that want to work the light, that want to like at least breadcrumb and shed some evidence for people to kind of catch on to, and to be community builders. And that's what I see here. You know what I mean? What y'all doing is building your community, building like minds, you know what I'm saying? Building strong hearts. And that's critical out here. We need protection from what they trying to program us with. So like when you're not dreaming, why you not dreaming, bro? How much media content are you taking in all day long? How many times your boss emailed you? How many, like you so exhausted by the time you get put down, and knowing you gotta wake up and you got anxiety all through the night, that time you wake up, you got no time to dream. Kidding me? There's no time for your dreams in this institution, God. Yeah.
Hey,
no, that's real.
that's look. Let me get back to these comments because that's too real right there. Kia knows things said, I lost a couple friends being a breadcrumber. I really want
Yeah.
to wait. Mm, mm. Hey, Dash, have you ever had an instance in which people around you were breadcrumbers and you were able to identify that and you was just like, hey, look, man. You know what I'm saying?
Like, can y'all clarify what the breadcrumber is? Like, because
So this is an example, right?
yeah.
You meet somebody you don't know. You don't know if they woke or not. You don't know if they a zombie or not. Let's say this is a coworker. You think they cool from the job. Y'all laughing, ha ha ha. Boom, a conversation comes up. Let's say it's a hot topic. Let's say it's a BLM topic, right? Let's say it's a police brutality topic. And you will establish quickly from that conversation what side of the line that person lies on, right? What is their level of wokeness, right? And then you will decide at that point, do I want to lead this person in the right direction and try to free them from this bullshit? Or should I let them just keep succumbing to the niggerdom that they keep programming us with?
Well,
That's what, you know what I'm saying? And like for me, I feel like I gotta drag everybody out of this like bullshit. Like, yo, man, you need learning, folks. Big fact. When I
yeah.
see a young brother who's out there misguided, misdirected, talking about, oh, I'm doing this or I'm doing that, or this is the moves I gotta make, like, bro, that's exactly where they want you to be at. You on the pipeline to prison, you know what I'm saying? Or to the deathbed, one way or the other. We need to get you out. Your mother needs to get learned. Your grandma need to know. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what this whole shit is designed for. for you to not be educated, for you to not pull yourself up, for you to not learn about their technologies and not travel and not expose yourself or your children to different things and broaden their horizons. You know what I'm saying?
Pardon,
Yo,
pardon.
sorry, I'm going deep.
No. I listen. Thank you, because honestly, I had a different conception of what a breadcrumb was. So I thank you for that clarity, and I thank Kia knows things and Ish Mami for also dropping definitions throughout the comment section, also letting us know what a breadcrumb is. Ish Mami said people who drop nuggets, and Kia says I say stuff like stay away from fluoride and regular deodorant, and ask them to look up chemtrails. I get
See?
so I appreciate all of y'all. So with that, Dash, my apologies. Let me reformat my question. Have you ever had people in your life in which you saw potential in them and you yourself decided, yo, I'm gonna be the breadcrumber. I'm going to lead you in this path, and I'm going to see, not lead you in this path, but I'm going to suggest the path for you, and I'm going to see how well you are able to adhere to certain tools and to certain means of assimilating towards this path to actualize your potential.
I think I get what you're asking, and I have before, a couple times, but the last time I did was probably at least 5-6 years ago, and even now, like when I do something similar, it's only but to a certain point. Like I'll give you advice or I'll give you a tip, and I'll see what you do with that before I'll indulge and offer more. Like I'll see what you took about what I gave you. You know, like if you ain't do nothing with it, then be like, like I'm not really gonna take my energy to best to try to teach you something that you clearly not paying the initiative to learn yourself. But if I see you still in your grind and I know some stuff that can really help you on your path, I'll start sharing more nuggets as I go, and I'll be like, all right, yo, by the way, you should do this, that, and the third, like maybe look into this, that, and the third. So I've done that more so, because before in the past, I used to just get myself frustrated, dealing with people. And then, people change their minds and switch out what they want, and then that become annoying, because it's just like, all right, well, I already gave you all this time of my life. I can't get that shit back. I can't run the clock back and, use that for something I want to use it for. So now you done wasted my time and you changed your mind. Like this isn't something that you're really serious about. So now I feel like you just playing games. Like now I feel like you either just want my attention or you just want me to stay busy doing whatever you need. And I don't really have the time for that either way. So
I dig it. That's fully respect. Pretty Rude said dropping seeds. People choose if they want to nurture the seed or not. Facts.
Big time.
Facts.
yeah.
There's a scripture in the Bible, because that's a part of my faith. That is my faith. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And I'm sprinkled in with a few other disciplines, 5%er. You know what I mean? Things of that nature or whatnot. But as far as the core of my faith, what was instilled in me by my mom, that's that. And one of my favorite passages were, don't dash your pearls before swine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be able to understand what you have as valuable, and you have to be able to take that to give it to those who will be able to acknowledge it and treat it as valuable. Just because you think it's valuable and you know it's valuable doesn't mean that the next person is ready for it. A person might disrespect your gift, not to be malicious or anything, but it's
They
just
just don't understand.
Exactly.
And this is to the point of like, just having like some basic knowledge of self, right? And like just like even like where we said where it starts is just knowing yourself, right? And spending that time, you know what I mean? And kind of focusing your energy and thinking about your goals and you peel it back, bro. Like this shit don't happen overnight. It took me 43 summers to get to, where I'm at right now, and I'm still working, and we all always working, because once you stop working, just curl up, you know what I mean? Then you'll be pruned too.
Yeah.
The hope is that you do enough work and you impart enough on others that work continues as a ripple in the wave, right? And so the true legacy being those fruits and those seeds that you instill in others, right? In terms of like growth, development, art, creation, beauty, love, right? And so, like, I think of it as just like the love is something that is free for me to give, but it will pay itself forward exponentially. And I dropped this on my son the other day, because he had a situation with a classmate and things got a little janky. And I said, the negative energy and disconnect that you have with somebody, if this doesn't work out or y'all don't fix it, will have ripple effects, right? Because then he's going to tell his man, oh, don't with this guy. And then somebody else is going to be like, oh, yeah, he did this. And that's how like these chains start, right? But if you fix that and you create that love bond, right? That love bond grows exponentially, right? So same way me and Jetty build, right, on some love vibration shit, that's going to connect 4 other people, right? And that 4 is going to turn to 16, and 16 is going to be 32 because the power is quantified when it's love, vibration, and energy, right? Whereas that fear and that hater shit, it moves and it sticks, but it don't stick the way love sticks. So that's, I just try to like let him know, don't let fear make you do shit that's gonna cause that negative ripple chain. Lead with love and honesty and integrity and heal that shit, because that's the more potent and more saleable thing that you need to be connected to.
That's real. That's real. Hold on, Pro. I want to get into this one comment because while speaking, this young lady just dropped a beautiful gem that's in relation to what you're saying as far as how fear moves. We all know that love is the more potent of fruits, if you will, but fear as being a formidable seed that can grow as well. Pretty Rude said, I think people don't realize what seeds they plant. Some people drop seeds that plant doubt, and that shit grows.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, doubt is that low vibration though, right? That's in that same frame. You know what I'm saying? If we was doing Venn, right? That doubt is gonna fall on that fear, that negative blockchain, if you will. So that's why, like, I think that it's important that people often will ask you for advice, right, about their thing or their dream or what they want to pursue. And like that's your opportunity to be godlike in your manner and your response and how you treat it, right? That's your opportunity to not put doubt within them, right? You could give them guidance, advice, positive, motivation, and still be corrective, right? But that takes learning, that takes leadership, and that takes time to develop that. But like nurture your flock, nurture your community, right? When bro is like, yo, I got a record, listen to the song or listen to this verse, listen to it. You know what I mean? It might not be great, it might not be dope, but don't sow that doubt seed and that fear in him. Give that positive charge so that he could be great. And then that'll come out in the music. And like karmically, how do you want to move, right? When you got something that's out there in the universe, right? You want it to be received with that same care and love. So, like I said, that's the root, bro. And the album ultimately, when I listen to it again, that's the underlying theme of the Indirect album is love, right? It's palatable from the first to the last record, and it's the common through line and the common theme is love.
Yeah.
Everything that I'm talking about is related to love.
That's a fact. And speaking of love, we got some love that's being sent to Dash's way right now in the comments. Each mommy said, I feel like Dash has a new hairstyle. And my lady good. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, appreciate that.
He was at the shop.
For real.
I couldn't see the comments for a minute now, so I just been relying on y'all.
It's all love. It's all love. That African butterfly also said it takes time, but it's worth it. Plus, making people feel good makes you feel good. That's a fact. That's synergy. That's synergy right there, though.
Yeah.
And like how you treat what's the golden rule? Treat others the way that you
want to treat it. Yeah.
One to others. That's right. And I like the one that me and the homies always use, which is feel free to feel good. You know what I'm saying? Feel free to feel good. It's free.
It is.
And like I said, the program is designed for us to not vibrate at a high level and to not feel joy and to not feel free, right? Because we have to go do this and we have to do this and we have all these obligations in our lives, right? The only thing you could really control is how you approach that and the energy that you bring to it, right? And so, like, it's difficult. Every day is hard, period. Every day got a challenge. Every day you make a decision or a choice or you come across something that is not living up to your expectation, it's not what you want, fill in the blank, right? How you digest that and respond to that is the only thing that you could really control. Now, the programming is designed to make you respond in a certain way, right? Violence, aggression, anxiety, fear, right? All of these responses that are trigger responses from news media outlets, right? The stories that we're seeing, the type of shows that are being displayed, the video games that are going on, even the sonic frequencies of the music and the artists that they're picking with major labels are a part of the design to create an environment that encourages you to kill your joy. So the only weapon you have is that joy, that love, and them goals. And you got to chase all three of those things.
Yeah. Let me swing this over to Dash right quick because I remember that Dash, when he first got his job, when he first got his new job, you know what I mean, there was an adjustment period in which I didn't really understand until I got my new job, and it was really laborious. And I was like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But as far as being in a system that is programmed to have you respond in a certain type of way, Dash, how are you able to find yourself? And it doesn't necessarily have to relate to the job. It can relate to anything that you might be able to, you know, resonate with in the moment. But as far as a system that is put in place to have you respond in a negative way, how are you able to find yourself in a space in which your programming overwrote the programming of this system that wanted you to respond their way?
That really take a lot for real. For that's really sitting at one with yourself and really getting control over your emotions for real. For real. Cause that's difficult. Cause it's hard to say what situation is going to be that situation that kind of put you over the top. Like, cause you can be dealing with anything perfectly fine, and it be that one day where it just isn't perfectly fine. You kind of got to dig deeper to channel your control over it. And if you feel like it's like bringing you to a negative space, it's hard not to eventually succumb to some of that negativity and like let that enter your space at least to a certain extent. How do I keep? I don't know. I try to stay as positive as I can be most days. Those days I'm not as positive as I would like to be. I do have like practices like where I'm trying to breathe or like I try to listen to music. You know, I'm trying to do different shit outside of smoking to kind of get that release and that tension weight off me. But honestly, the best remedy for me is either like it's honestly it's hitting something. Like I'm figuring out like I'm more of a physical expressor. Like if I can get it out, like whether that's like I did like this thing where I was like throwing X's at the wall, and it's like this whole X on the wall type, some type of shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did that. That's a great stress reliever. And then like one of my homies, he got like this old yard where it's like all these abandoned heaters, TVs and shit. And we'd just take a couple sludge hammers and go to work, you know, like so that's like the best remedy for something like for real. Like that to me really brings out the peace because just like once I'm done with that, it's like I'm tired from swinging this heavy ass hammer, and I done got out like all my aggression like that I was feeling, and like whatever I was feeling, I could just take it out. Like I can be as angry as I want to be, like, and it's not gonna piss nobody off. It's not gonna hurt nobody. I'm not about to walk into another argument because I done said something that I shouldn't have said. You know, I can just get out what I need to get out, and I can be like, you know what, it's felt good. Like,
Fact. That's a fact. And on the low, that's energy transmutation too. You know what I'm saying? So that's real. That's real. That's valuable. That's beyond valuable to be able to, like, yo, at the end of the day, man, it's all about what we do with our energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are energetic beings, so it's not like we can escape the influence of energy. You know what I mean? It's just not on us to hold the energy that we receive. Even if it's good energy, it's not meant for us to hold. It's meant for us to do something with. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Got to
that's real.
transfer your energy, yeah. And like, just think about how many people are walking up with pented up energy, right? Because most people are not going to the gym. They're not really like going and smashing the television or throwing the axe. Like, we're privileged to be able to do these things, right?
No,
But when
that's
you
real.
think about the world in the context of the global economy, like most places are like third world, right? Or people live below the poverty line to a point where there's no recreational or stress relieving activity for them, right? Like, what do? Work and work some more, work till they pass out, and to wake up and work and hope they pay a bill. You know what I'm saying? Like, it. So you gotta find that, bro. I would encourage you to go hit more shit with sledgehammers, though, because
Yeah.
that sounds like a great time. I want to get in on
It
that.
was like it definitely
Yeah,
was, and it was like on one of my days I really need to hit something like so. It was like perfect time, and like it was like one of those days where it was like everything just seemed like it was going bad, like from traffic being too long to like work just being too exhausted, people getting on my nerves. It's just like, all right.
But that shit real, man. That shit real. But listen, we rolling off on that hour period. You know what I'm saying? So once again, Pro, you know it's love, man. Thank you for
for
being
sure.
here. Thank you for sharing time, for being transparent with us. But before
Oh
we
yeah.
go, we got a tradition, man. You know what I'm saying? We like to leave one thing on the table that stuck out to us as far as the duration of the conversation. But I want to remix it just a little bit because I also want to include what you do as far as in the community, in the art community. Because when Chevy and I came up to New York, East Village, you did something that blew my mind away. Like, and I told you this before. Like, I've been running and ramping with my brother, even before my brother before me. Like, we've been doing this for years, networking, being out here, open mics, opening our own events, doing our own things digitally, on the streets, outside, for real. And I've never seen anything quite like this. You know what I'm saying? What you do with the art community. I don't even want to spoil it. Could you open what you help the art community to do as far as exposing them to open markets or to larger markets on these times that you're out here with the artists and with people who are interested in art?
Yeah, bro. So, that's been a journey too, right? Because I've always been a fan of visual art and visual artists, right? Like, I think as artists, like, whatever, like, that discipline that you can't execute is like always your favorite, right? So it's like I see somebody getting busy painting or like doing graffiti or something like that. I'd be like hype, like, oh, that should get me like hype, bro. I don't know what it is. So like I've been capturing that in photography for years and years, like just taking pictures of mural art or sticker art, wheat paste, different street art. So when I put down the microphone and had stopped doing the hip hop thing with my brothers at the Dub, I wanted to find a way to still be creative, still be active. And the first part of that was creating a public arts scene in my own local community. So I started an organization called Englewood Art Walls, and our focus was to uh, get documentation in City Hall to legitimize and legalize mural art and for it to not be classified as graffiti so that we can then formally create a public arts um, district and to have mural art and public art in the community. So we have one project that's going to be a pretty substantial project that's going to be done this coming summer. And it's a tribute to women's suffrage. And there's a woman of color from Brooklyn who's going to be coming and painting a mural on the side of a building in downtown Englewood in my community. So I'm thrilled about that. I was on the committee that selected the artist and worked with the city to get that done. So I started there, and then that slowed down. And so I still had this appetite to do more. So I connected with street art photographers and people that go out and actually take pictures of street art photography, as well as the artists whose art they capture, right? So creating a bridge where these folks that are capturing the art and the people that are creating it are now engaging in the community. And what we do is a street art scavenger hunt, where the artists go out and they put up different pieces of art, and the different photographers go out and find it. And the first person who finds all of the new pieces of art wins an original piece by the artist. So what I wanted to do was create a vehicle where these people that maybe can't afford the thousands of dollars or whatever to buy a piece of art could compete and find a way to earn the art. And so we do that. We've done that for about 3 years now. I think we got like 16 or 15 events under our belt with that. And then that expanded and created other opportunities within the arts community. So I did a street art photography show in an ice cream shop locally in town, and we raised some money for a children's work program. I also have other shit, like I could keep going, but like really, like I just love what I'm doing now, which is bringing the hip hop side of my community together with the art side of my community and kind of fusing those two. And that's kind of where my focus has been over the last year. So I produce an event called Kitchen Sink now, which is an art variety show where we have live painting, spoken word, MCs, live drums and percussion, dance, like whatever your talent is that you could perform live, we let everybody come out and rock, and it's been really dope. And then the album In the Red, is another manifestation of that. Different visual artists that I've connected with have created different pieces of art for each of the songs. And so In the Red is really the In the Red collection, which will be a collection of original art pieces that will be paired with each individual song. And later this year, I hope to put together an activation where people can come and experience the art with the music, and really just celebrate the creative community. You know what I mean?
Right on. I dig it. All right. So, with that elaborate and eloquently said remix to our traditional and final thought, my remix, the final thought is going to be as far as how it connects to our community and how, Dash and myself even started PVM, or the nucleus that helped to give rise to something that was way further along than what I could ever have even imagined. Years ago, I can't even remember. We've been doing PVM for about 2 years, but before PVM, and when I was going through a little space and period where I wasn't necessarily doing music as much, I found, I would trademark, my trademark is this, what I mean? I would put the trademark out there, and I had a series called 222. So I would just release these videos where I would just speak my mind over social issues, whatever nonsense, Jones. It wasn't even meant to be entertaining per se. It was just my mindset on certain things that, I just felt like speaking about, you know what I mean? And I kept it going for maybe a year. I don't know. But Chev, our brother, who's also the executive producer of PVM, hit me up one day. He was just like, bruh, what you need to do is you need to link up with Dash and start a podcast. You know what I mean? And it evolved into a talk show, but at the beginning, it was like a podcast. He was like, you already doing 222. You know what I'm saying? Dash is doing his thing as well with Fly 'em Out. We gonna get to that. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, look, and this was before Fly 'em Out was Fly 'em Out. Dash was still a chef, but this was before Fly 'em Out officially Fly 'em Out. So, yo, y'all should just get together and have a podcast. And I was like, yo, I'm down with that. You know what I mean? It took a while to come to the name. We found the name together. And Dash and I have been a moving force in the community that's allowed as many voices that we know to have a platform to express themselves and to have a which their voice would resonate with other voices. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I'm forever grateful and eternally thankful for Dash being in my life in that regard, and as a brother. You know what I'm saying? So that's my testament, and that's my lasting thought I'm gonna put on the table. As far as lasting thought, the remix to the lasting thought, Dash, Fly 'em Out, and in connection to the community, brother. Where did it start? Like, talk to us about Fly 'em Out and how Fly 'em Out has been an integral force as far as the community in which it is budding and blossoming?
Well, that's a lot of pressure to put up on it so far, like, because it's still in its infancy stages. But it's coming along. You know what? Like, Fly 'em Out is not only just a catering business, but it's really just a mindset and just really just like, yeah, Fly 'em Out is really fly 'em out for whatever you want to fly 'em out. Like, whether that's you want to be a better business person, artist, whatever. It's just like pin your all up into it, like, and like, to echo everything Jetty said, like, yeah, that pretty much was how, like, we started PVM, like, because even like around that time it was like everything was kind of just starting to fall in line, and like even with the name of Fly My, that was something that just came and fell in line with, like, that was just something like just happened organically, because like I can remember I was just starting to pick up my poetry writing at the time, and I was just getting more invested into my writing. I was just really like saying with myself, like, okay, this is where my life is at. This is where I want my life to be. This is where I always wanted to, for my life, and what do I gotta do? And like as I was starting to put the pieces together, like opportunity kind of knocked, and it was just like, yo, let's do this pod. Because like how Jetty said, like, it was Chev that reached out to me and was just like, yo, you should do a pod with Jetty, because like unknowingly to Jetty at the time I was already thinking about doing a pod. I just really just didn't have an idea who I would want to do a pod with, how I would go about the steps of going through it, what the pod would be about, and like time length and like all the little detail stuff like that don't really matter until they matter. Like, so like I was kind of like sitting with that thought, and like I was kind of like, honestly, I was talking to God, and I was like, and just putting it out there in the universe. I'm just like, look, God, this is what I want. Like, now, like I can sit back and I can just like reflect on how you narrated my life up to this point. I can see like certain things I was meant to go through. So like, where do you want me to go from here? Like, I'm going to follow your lead, but like this is ideally where I want to go. So if they align, like, let me know. And like shortly afterwards, it wasn't like shortly, but like shortly, like eventually things just started to fall in line. Like as I became more dedicated and I kind of put more into it, like even like setting up my routine, my daily routine about like what I want to do, how much I want to accomplish. Even like writing, like, cause I put down like I like made like little notes of like stuff I want to do, like writing. Like I was just like, all right, I want to do 6 pages a day. You know, if I dedicate myself 3 hours a day, you know, that adds up. You know, that start building up my time, and I can get better. Even though it doesn't seem like a lot, is a lot for what I have to offer. And just, you know, just figuring out how I can manage my life. And that even just started with like how I schedule my life, and like being like, all right, well, I got these time periods where I'm free. Like, let me prioritize all the things I want to do. Or like this time I could put over to my family, or this time I can just have for me, where I can just nothing schedule. It's just whatever I decide to do with that, I decide to do with it. And like as I start to do that, like life became a tad bit easier. I mean, like, I ain't gonna lie, it's still stressful at times. Like I had my days where I'm just like, like fuck. But like for the most part, like I'm able to like keep my dome on straight, like, and it does help me, like. But there are those days, like, so each day is his own blessing. You know, I'm just being grateful, like, and understanding. Like, an OG told me this at the job not too long ago, because I had like a little situation, and I wasn't really feeling it that day. He was like, "Look, man," he was just like, "just be grateful to be going through the situation." He was just like, "Sometimes you just gotta be grateful for it, and that's the blessing." He was just like, and like when I kind of applied that, I was just like, you know what? You're right, because it's so much shit I could be going through. So let me just be grateful. Like, this might be an inconvenience, but like let me be grateful for the inconvenience, because I don't know what's teaching me, but it's helping me with something. Maybe it's patience, maybe it's understanding, whatever it is. Like I had to learn that lesson, and like, you know,
Yeah, that was
it's,
one of my main. That was one of my main mantras too. It still is grace and humility, like every day, bro. Like every day. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's bad, ugly, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's always humble status, and I'm always grateful. You know, and like I said, like with so much loss, and you look at the, you know, the amount of loss that we've all had collectively amongst all of our communities in the last couple of years, and even over life. You know, every day is like thank you, for real.
That's a
Thank you for busting me over the head. Thank you for, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm here though,
yes,
and I
sir.
still got time.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. Last comment before we wrap this up. Shakina Wisdom said, life happens for you, not to you. Change your perspective.
I like that.
Said, beautifully written. Dash, thank you for dropping the nuggets of wisdom that you did regarding Flyer Mile PVM and for everything as far as this conversation and your insights and, you know what I'm saying, holding it down. Prolific, thank you once again for joining us. We appreciate you. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for the wisdom that you dropped, for building with us. And for everybody in the comment section, thank you for having us and for being with us and for spending another hour and some change with us on this Sunday evening. We will be back Wednesday, 7 p.m. Same time, same place, PVM.
With that African butterfly, wrapping up the Black History Month series. We talking about the power of the N word, so definitely join us for that conversation. Also, shout out T-shirt Mercenary for the T-shirts Jeide and I are both sporting. You guys can order y'all's. Well, starting today, y'all can order y'all. So just hop in the DMs and let us know sizes, color. You know, reach out. We get on that, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. Search Positive Vibes Maybe on YouTube. Hit that like and follow button. Let's run these numbers up.
Yo, follow Prolificwone, yo. Get that
Follow
album
Prolific.
in the red. It's out right now. You know what I mean? And support these brothers, man, and all their endeavors. Bless y'all, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Light and love.
Thank you, man.
It's been beautiful, man.
You already know. And we are out.